In 1945, when American troops entered a remote military complex outside Harbin, China, they expected a deserted outpost. What they found instead forced even hardened soldiers to step back in disbelief. Rooms filled with preserved medical specimens. Human forms left in positions that suggested extreme suffering. And stacks of files describing procedures so morally disturbing that the documents were quickly locked away. This hidden facility was Unit 731, a covert wartime research center operated by Imperial Japan. Its official mission was epidemic prevention. Its real purpose was something far darker. The man who ran it, General Shiro Ishii, was a microbiologist with enormous influence inside the Japanese military. He believed that the future of warfare belonged to biology and that human beings could be used as tools to unlock scientific secrets. Under his direction, a massive compound was built in Pingfang. It looked like a research institute, but behind the walls, people were brought in and never came out again. What happened inside those buildings remained unknown to the world for years. Test subjects were exposed to extreme temperatures to observe how the human body reacted under freezing conditions. Surgical procedures were performed without proper anesthesia so researchers could study organ function in real time. Biological agents were released in controlled scenarios to see how diseases might spread. Some prisoners were subjected to high-pressure chambers designed to test the limits of human endurance. Others were forced into situations meant to study the transmission of certain infections. The nature of these actions violated every ethical principle in medicine. All visual materials for this section would be restricted to documents, diagrams, and non-graphic reconstructions. As the war came to an end, Unit 731's leaders destroyed much of their facility and attempted to erase the evidence. But what shocked historians most was not just what had happened there, it was what happened after. Instead of facing trial, many of the individuals involved were offered protection. U.S. intelligence agencies believed the data gathered from these experiments might be strategically useful. In return for sharing their findings, key personnel were granted immunity. Shiro Ishii lived out his life without prosecution. Some of his former colleagues became university professors, industry leaders, and even public officials. Meanwhile, the families of the victims, Chinese, Korean, Russian, and others, continued to live with unanswered questions. Many of them have still not received formal recognition or compensation, even decades later. For years, what was known about Unit 731 came only from scattered testimonies and a small number of surviving documents. But in recent years, new information has begun to surface. Recently declassified Soviet files provide detailed accounts from captured personnel. Interrogation notes, supply logs, and technical descriptions reveal that the scale of the research was larger than earlier estimates. Eyewitness statements from Korean guards, newly translated into multiple languages, describe daily operations inside the compound. And in China, fresh excavation work at the Pingfang site has uncovered structural remains and artifacts consistent with survivor reports. No graphic imagery is shown, only blurred field footage and official records. These new discoveries paint a fuller picture of how deeply the program was embedded into the wartime machinery of Imperial Japan, and how much various global powers knew in the years that followed. They also raise a question that echoes through modern history. Why is this chapter so rarely discussed compared to other wartime atrocities? Perhaps because responsibility was never fully assigned. Perhaps because some of the information was considered too valuable to reveal. Or perhaps because the victors of a war often decide which stories become part of the public memory and which ones remain buried. History is not just a record of what happened. It is also a record of what was allowed to be remembered. Unit 731 stands as a reminder of how easily truth can be hidden, how justice can be delayed, and how silence can stretch across generations. If you want early access to the next investigation, exploring the Vatican's sealed World War II archives, along with a full list of sources, the link is in the description. Like and subscribe. The past isn't gone. It's still unfolding, and we are only beginning to uncover the pieces.